Workforce planning is an iterative process many organizations use to align the needs and priorities of the organization with its human resources to make sure they have and will continue to have the right number of people with the right skills, in the right place, at the right time, performing work at the right level, and at the right cost. Many industries face critical shortages of essential talent, while others struggle to define the shape of the workforce they need in the midst of major and rapid change. As work requirements evolve, the demands on the workforce change too. A number of trends are having an impact on the shape and expectations of the workforce. Some of these include an aging workforce and fast approaching retirement waves are leaving organizations asking themselves, who will retire? When? How will that affect organizational performance? And what should we do to prepare? An additional challenge is with no mandatory retirement age. Retirement projections are just that, an educated guess. Another trend is the skills and qualifications gap. Despite investment in higher education, there are significant gaps in skills in scientific, technical, engineering, and math disciplines. Linked to this gap are higher costs for scarce skills. Critical skills attract a market premium. Another trend is changing career patterns and expectations. The traditional career, with retirement in someone's early 60s, has been replaced with expectations of greater job fulfillment, flexible employment patterns, and a smoother transition into retirement. There are also trends in current and projected labor shortages, in globalization, in a growing use of a contingent and flexible workforce, in mergers and acquisitions, and in the evolution of technology and tools. At its core, organizations do workforce planning and integrate it into their strategic planning process to ensure that they are maximizing and leveraging their human resources. And as an organization's greatest asset, making sure their workforce is completely aligned to their core operations and mission, as well as the strategic initiatives that are imperative to moving the organization forward towards its vision. Work that's not adding value to the mission or the vision gets assessed to determine if it should continue. Recruitment strategies, career development, succession planning, learning and development, performance management are all grounded in a foundational understanding of the workforce requirements of today and the future. There are a variety of workforce planning models. Here are the 4 that are most commonly used. 1, more traditional models that look at ratios to create demand and supply gap analysis and develop plans to address future staffing gaps. 2, workforce analytics models that analyze the relationship between the workforce and business data. 3, forecasting models that use data to create forecasts and what-if scenarios and then plan for those. And the 4th, human capital planning that segments jobs based on their mission criticality and makes different levels of workforce investment in each segment by forecasting on the broad trends in those segments over a 3 to 4 year period. At NSCC, the approach we've taken is a bit of a hybrid of a few models. We've reviewed our organization's core operational work, strategic objectives, and key performance indicators. We've examined organizational best practices, spans of control, and internal productivity indexes. We've worked with line managers to truly understand the work that's being performed across the organization. We've assessed data and made recommendations to line managers that builds towards right size, which is having the right number of people in the right roles, spending the right amount of time achieving outcomes. The right level, where we've identified duplication and inefficiency and look for where work should be performed. The right place, which is ensuring the required resources are available at the right time in the right location to meet the current and the future workload. The right skills, where we're assessing the gaps in the competencies and skills that will be needed to meet the future goals and ensure development plans are in place to address those gaps. And the right cost, identifying where compensation may be a barrier to attracting the required skills and planning for that. We've worked with business owners to develop workforce plans which look to align the workforce to meet today's needs and tomorrow's requirements, with clear implementation plans that outline the how and the when in areas such as redeployment of resources, learning and development plans, recruitment plans, and so on. We've also implemented an annual review and revision process. Industry, business, and job characteristics all affect how workforce planning is done. Workforce planning must be customized to the specific conditions and needs of the organization. I've worked with a few approaches to workforce planning and have found at its core it should be a conversation and an inquiry process, rather than detailed charts crammed with all kinds of numbers. To engage senior executives in workforce planning, the process really has to focus on understanding the strategic business initiatives and the broad implications for the workforce. Organizations need both broad directional insights and granular details about their workforce. While senior executives may only want a high-level perspective, inconsistent numbers can destroy the credibility of workforce planning. So, establishing consistent, organization-wide data is a prerequisite to winning confidence in the output of workforce planning. Regardless of how you do it, there are a few key similarities in successful workforce planning. They include: make the process and tools simple and efficient to use. Develop your HR team's capabilities and comfort level with workforce planning. Develop definitive and consistent data used organization-wide. Establish a common language to describe skills, experience, and jobs so that talent can be leveraged throughout the organization. And integrate workforce planning with strategic business and budget planning.